Hey, 2600 here, and today we're looking at Versus Castlevania. First, the options. Now, this option turns the flicker off for the characters, which is great. You can adjust the display settings and the game settings. You can make it easy or hard, really normal or hard. Adjust the bonus and the lives. Let's see what else. You can do the buttons. You can do rapid fire, which don't know why you do rapid fire in Castlevania, but... So here's the tail end of the attract screen, insert coin. Hit the wrong button, trying to put a coin in. There we go. Wait, wrong button again, trying to find the start button. There we go. Awesome Castlevania opening. Classic video game moment right here. And the build up where you get the power-ups right before entering the castle. I love this. Now, the Versus version of Castlevania came out in 1987. The original Castlevania on the NES came out in 86 in Japan, on the Famicom in Japan. Now about to enter the castle. I always love this sound when you enter the castle. Now, the big difference you might notice has to do with the colors. The color palette is different in Versus Castlevania. This is mainly because it's on an arcade monitor. It's an arcade harness hookup, all that jazz. And I love how bright and vibrant the colors are. Some of the enemies have more than one color tone. The backgrounds pop. And especially when you get further in the game, I'll point it out, the backgrounds actually look more like they're supposed to and less like pixel blotches. So for me, this just makes the whole game pop. And I love the color palette change. Even the doors. I love that bright siding. Just makes it like clearer and just awesome. Now this port is essentially the same. It's essentially the same as the Nintendo version. The main changes that they did was, since it's an arcade game, they made it much more difficult. And they reduced the timer from 300 to 170. They also adjusted the points awarded at the end of the stage so that you can't get as many extra lives. Basically, they made it more difficult so you pump more quarters in. First boss is done. Yeah, so right here at the end, when they tally up the scores with that leftover hearts and stuff, right there, it's all changed. But they still kept the map screens. And look at that. Doesn't that just look, it just pops out of the screen. I love the more vibrant colors. I actually don't mind the difficulty, even the timer. It forces you, even though it's kind of cheap, it forces you to replay the game over and over, get to know which candles you want, which ones you don't, so you can move through the stage fast and beat the enemies and get a high score. And that's why I love Versus Castlevania. I still have the Nintendo one, but this is 2600 saying the Versus version he thinks is better, finds it more enjoyable. Now, one of the other cool things Hamster included in this port on the Nintendo Switch and also the PlayStation 4 is, besides what I showed you in the beginning where you can get something original characters, basically that makes the flickering from multiple characters on the screen stop so they're solid. You might have noticed in the beginning, the zombie things that are coming after me, there was no flickering. And the original Castlevania is notorious for flickering. But the other option is a bug fix where in Versus Castlevania, when you do a certain action, the music stops. And it can be really annoying. I used to play this on a ROM and that would happen. Hamster put in a fix. If you want it to have the bug still, you can turn it back on. I don't know why you would, but Hamster did a great job with this port. So now here it is. Look in the background. Look at the ivy on the castle walls and everything. It actually looks like ivy. I remember playing this on the original Nintendo and thinking it just looks like green blotches. It doesn't add much depth. But here it really pops with the new palette for the colors. Could let it play a little and stop blabbering on so you can hear some of the music. And I'm back, and I love this scene. I love Dracula's chamber in the background in the tower. I love the maps. I remember playing this as a kid and seeing that and thinking, holy shit, that's where the end of the game is when they show it on the map. This is one of my favorite Nintendo games and arcade games. Now, I did do some random cuts for the voiceover. I've died plenty of times in this game. If you're paying attention to my lives and my points and my hearts, it's all over the place. I tried to cut it together just to get most of the stages. That's awesome. I love that they threw a cutscene like that in. Again, the colors, the vibrancy, even the like mermen or the Creature from the Black Lagoon knockoffs. They just pop. The stalagmites just pop with that color palette change. It's amazing how much of a difference it makes. Also, the other big advantage was this was on an arcade monitor, so it was definitely much more crisp compared to when we were all kids playing it on the Nintendo through an RF or the audio video cables. First dragon snake head guy. Sorry, I don't know all the names of the enemies. I just kind of play the games. Always loved this. Felt like a sewer tunnel. Another classic boss fight. As a kid, I thought this was Frankenstein and the Hunchback of Notre Dame that I was fighting. And I guess it's supposed to be that. It's just an odd mashup. Yep, and I find this boss easiest to hide in the corner, dodge and hit the projectiles, and throw the dagger to freeze the Hunchback bouncing around while whipping Frankenstein's monster. Almost there. I love the tower hanging, looming in the background. I love this dungeon. Again, the skeletons, the tones, almost like that like purple shading on them just really pops. And the backgrounds just pop with the color palette. It's not as murky looking as the Nintendo port. So I think I'm just about done. Yep, died there. Nah, not going to register my score. So that's Verse Castlevania. Thank you for watching. Be sure to check out our other videos on YouTube and also our Instagram and our Twitter. Again, thank you for watching.